Hello. No big introduction for this. I don't think it's right to actually do my usual, well, hey, it's the tea and tights guy. We're here to entertain you. You know, we've always set out what we do is news, and yes, we try to entertain you at the same time, but it has obviously come to light today that NXT UK, as we know it, is not going to be a thing anymore. That they have announced that there will be a NXT Europe that is coming in 2023. But of course, with that comes the fact that not everybody from NXT UK can be absorbed into NXT 2.0 or even SmackDown and Raw. And therefore, we are seeing a few names now come up announcing that they have parted ways with the WWE. So hello, of course, I am Andy, and that is my usual co-host. He is Big Daddy Dan, or Dan. How are you, Dan?
Shocked, absolutely shocked to see so many names released by WWE, and some of them I just cannot comprehend why they would be not immediately put onto NXT 2.0 or even the main roster, a couple of them.
Indeed. Now, of course, we put out our last Brit Wres roundup. The episode was literally called "Is NXT UK Done?" Obviously, at that time, we really didn't think that was likely to happen. We were wrong.
Yep.
NXT UK, it is gone. Should we start with the news first of Europe and then go into, or should we start with talking about some of the releases and then talk about the possible outside of Europe to finish on something?
Okay, I think we should point out we're talking at 10 o'clock on Thursday night, and I think we should go through the releases first. I think that's what people want to know.
Yeah, okay. So I think the first person to really come out and announce that they had come to terms with their WWE release was one Flash Morgan Webster, who came out on Twitter just to say, as of today, WWE and I have come to terms with the terms of my release. I want to thank them for all the opportunities they've gave me over the last 5 years and looking after me through injury. Excited to see what's next. See you all soon. And now this has become somewhat of a common theme running through eventually. Mark Andrews tweeting, after 6 years with the WWE, my time with the company has come to an end. Excited to see what is next. You've had the Wild Boar. As of today, I'm no longer under contract with the WWE. It's been a wild experience. I'm thankful for everything it's been afforded to me. I'm excited to see what's next. I'm buzzing to get back in the ring and go. Jack Starr's simple message of grateful and thank you to the WWE. Until we meet again. And Amel, I'll have to translate the tweet because the tweet was in French.
I was going to say, how's your French?
No, I'm not even going to attempt it. It's not. A page is turned, but history continues to be written. Thank you. And as I say, that's become a very much of a common theme for how many of these announcements, I guess. Nina Samuels, I hope you enjoyed the Nina Samuels shows. I've recorded some gems for you to enjoy over the next few weeks, so stay tuned. And tonight's NXT UK, of course, because NXT UK does run on a Thursday. Then there's the big wide world out there, and the world needs more Nina, and that's definitely true.
Yeah, world needs more Nina.
Ashton Smith tweeted, "One hell of a ride. Millie McKenzie, thank for the memories." Ring announcer Kirsty Bosley, what an adventure. Charles Samuels, he's taken it somewhat in his stride. I am now really skint. Thanks for the laughs, and it was a joy. I appreciate the opportunity. WWE, Sam Gradwell, it's quite simple. In a bit, yogurts. And, you know, these have since been followed up by the likes of Rohan Raja, Danny Luna, Dave Mastiff,
Myla Grace,
and Kenny Williams.
Wow.
Yes, a lot of names there.
And a couple of those names I could genuinely have seen on the main roster straight away. Rohan Raja has got everything to be a WWE superstar. And Mel has got everything to be a WWE superstar. And ahead of Clash at the Castle, they've released 3 of the best Welsh wrestlers. What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's not like they would have had a spot on that card.
There could have been a nice
Really
rumble
nice
at the beginning.
Certainly would have been, but we joked that we'd be lucky to get the NXT UK title on Clash of the Castle, and still fingers crossed that we do get Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunphy at Clash of the Castle for the NXT UK Championship, because that would be great. But yeah, as you say, there's many names here that could definitely have, you know, Raja, I think, as you're right, you know, such great size, great look about him, great physical attributes, great wrestler. And Mel, so much marketability with her. She was really on the rise with the French Hope gimmick that she had. And again, a phenomenal female wrestler. You know, I mean, we could just, you know, point out the simple fact that everybody here is massively talented.
Yes.
And more talented than many people who may still, but I think we can look at it. If there is one positive, is I know that the people say, "Oh, the Brit Wres seed is dead." It's not dead. It hasn't been dead for a long time. There's a huge thriving scene out there in the UK right now that these guys are going to be returning to. People like yourself, myself, have maybe said that guys like Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan could do with having runs on the independent to help try to rebuild them in certain ways.
I'll tell you what, the person that I think is going to be coming out from this with the biggest step forward is probably going to be Ashton Smith. I think on the British independent scene, him and Sam Gradwell have used NXT to elevate themselves to such a higher level than they were. I think they're both going to be absolutely phenomenal on the independent scene.
Amazing wrestlers, amazing physiques, amazing looks. 100%, I agree with you on that. They are main event talent written all over them, and it'll be great to see them main eventing as they should, and it'll be great to see them wrestle in front of crowds that are excited to see them as well, because there's going to be a lot of people out there who are going to be excited to see these guys back in the ring, or whatever these guys choose to do. They may choose not to get in the ring. If that's the choice, that is their choice. But all we can do is certainly wish all these guys the best. You know, we can give them all our love.
There's one of these guys I can see heading back to the US, though. I can definitely see Mark Andrews making his way back to TNA.
Yeah, can't forget there's a whole new, even the American scene right now is more thriving personally than it has been in a long time, and probably thanks in parts to AEW, as well as the rise of promotions such as GCW, Impact Wrestling, repackaging and starting to rebuild. More so recently, promotions, ROH is a thing again, and ROH has always had a long history of working well with British wrestlers and British wrestling talent.
Yeah, I could see Rohan Raja in Ring of Honor.
But as you say, Progress, ICW, TNT Extreme Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Chaos, WXW in Germany. There are so many promotions that are going to benefit from this, and it's certainly not an end for any of these guys. If they don't want it to be an end, it won't be an end, and it'll give a lot of these guys a chance to repackage themselves, to rebrand themselves. Just look at what Joseph Connors has been doing out on the UK independent scene recently. He's been absolutely smashing it, main eventing it all across the country, giving back to the younger generation. There's this whole new generation of amazing British wrestling talent out there that are going to benefit again from having these guys to work with once more.
Yeah, without doubt. And already on social media, there are calls for bring Millie McKenzie to the US, bring Sam Grabwell to the US. I don't think I've taken into account the fact that NXT UK is watched outside the UK.
It is. They may want to pretend it doesn't get watched, but there are people out there watching it. I think some people just like to say, oh, I don't watch NXT UK to seem cool to their friends. That's what it is. But they've been watching, and NXT UK or NXT Europe, there will be a market for it.
Yeah,
and I think it'll be something to look forward to, I guess. Out of all of this, go.
I want to see some of these guys live. There's a few guys that I haven't seen live that I do want to have the opportunity to see. I want to see Danny Luna live. No, I have seen Grabwell live.
What do you think?
I saw Grabwell live back for Rev Pro in Stevenage many years back. I saw Ashton Smith live. Who I haven't seen live is Mark Andrews. Who I haven't seen live is Kenny Williams and Danny Luna. I would love to see them live. I've seen Wild Boar. He puts on a hell of a show. And recently we've talked to a few different wrestling promoters and wrestlers. And his name keeps coming up as one of the people that's trained so many people that is quiet about it. Wild Boar, I think, is going to be the surprise out of here for the number of bookings that he gets and the number of places he goes.
Oh, yes. Seminars and the likes, especially, as you mentioned, we have had guys like No Mercy. We've had Brendan White talk about New Wave Pro Wrestling, which, of course, was the former Dragon Gate Pro Wrestling, and is what has been built upon. And it's, as I say, the way these guys left the scene, it's bigger and better than it was now, and it's just we can see these guys coming in there and just really helping to establish that even just a little bit more.
Yeah. Mark Andrews, I think, like I say, could easily end up in the States, but easily can take over any of Progress, Rev Pro, any company that he wants to go to. Anyone would be lucky to have Mark Andrews come through their doors.
Well, pre-pandemic, Mark Andrews alongside Eddie Dennis, were working a lot with Progress. They were both entwined with the Progress World Championship. Little matches against Ilya Dragunov that I can think of the top of my head, which were absolutely fantastic, over the Progress World title.
Yep.
So there's a lot to think about.
There is indeed. Obviously, we wish the best to all of these people who have had a change to their jobs. They're going to be having to make some really difficult decisions, and make sure you go and look for their merch and give them the support that they're going to need.
Indeed. And make sure once they get booked on a show, go support them when you see them booked on a show. Don't just go, oh well, they're booked on this show. Go, if they're booked on a show, go see them, because there's, in fact, we know of plenty. There's a lot of shows coming up that had a lot of these guys booked onto shows. Mark Andrews is at Slam Masters October 2nd. Wild Boar is going to be at New Wave Wrestling Academy show on the 11th of September. Eddie Dennis is going to be part of Progress's Warriors Come Out and Play. Mike Hitchman is also going to be part of No Mercy Wrestling show coming soon, part of a double header that they're working with Pro Wrestling Chaos on a 2-day show.
I believe Mastiff was going to be at a Black Country Championship Wrestling show at some point soon.
He was due to be at their last show, but had to pull out due to things. But yes, Mike Hitchman's going to be at No Mercy Wrestling on the 20th of August, and that's going to be in Cardiff.
Excellent.
So go out and support these guys, and yeah, it'd be great to see guys like Ashton Smith and Sam Gradwell back at TNT Extreme Wrestling, Liverpool bound.
Yep. No, it will just be great to see these guys back on the independent scene. And like I say, I just hope things work out for all of them. I hope that they get to do what they want to do, what they love doing, and we wish them all the best.
And massively good luck to all of the NXT UK talents that have managed to continue working with WWE for now, up until at least Worlds Collide. We'll see if any more releases happen at that point, because as I say, unfortunately, NXT and Raw and SmackDown, I suppose they can only absorb so much.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't want to speculate on any names that have or are saying or have been released that haven't come out yet. We'd rather not spend our time speculating those names. So, well, let's talk about NXT Europe then, or the launch of NXT Europe.
Where's it going to be?
Everywhere.
That's going to be a big question.
Everywhere.
Is it going to be one place like the BT Sports Arena? Is it going to be touring? Where do we think they're going to hold it?
I think the WWE are trying to hide the fact that ticket sales for NXT UK weren't great, and they wanted to find a way to alleviate that. Now, if they spread themselves out across all of Europe, doing a show in the UK, a show in Spain, a show in France, every other month, or every month or every couple of weeks in a new country, put on a new show, well, that's going to draw much larger crowds than a weekly show in one place or a monthly show in one place.
But is it? Because you're going to be having the costs of a touring company. You're going to be having to pay to travel all of these people to different countries, as opposed to having one place where people can practice constantly, where they are under contract as a full-time job, progressing. Are you going to
I
have
didn't
that?
say there doesn't have to. That doesn't mean they don't have to have a performance center. You can still keep a performance center, but have a touring company. So,
You know what I blame?
That keep all you guys in one space, and you just take out the people who you need to at times. Who do you blame?
Brexit.
Yeah.
It's made it difficult to travel to Europe. Brexit.
Have made it more difficult to travel to Europe, but you know, it'll be interesting to see because as far as I'm aware, they always were going to do NXT Europe, but they were going to run it alongside NXT UK, and they were going to have NXT Japan, NXT Mexico. And so forth. So I do feel like they're hiding this UK rebranded into it. I do think that there was, I think the original plans were for this, was it the global localization?
That was the wording.
That was the wording Triple H used back in 2018 when he first launched NXT UK. He talked about global localization, although to be honest, I actually think he did also mention things like NXT Germany, so I'm not sure if it was NXT Europe as a whole and whether there were just plans to take in individual European countries. I feel it, because the WWE, there's only so much pull you can have. I think expanding it across Europe will bring in the best from each of those rather than just trying to take up a whole load of one lot of talent, many of who were never going to make it onto the next stage, because the global localization, it was always supposed to be a feeder system, but a feeder system doesn't work if people are employed for 5 years or more. Does that make
Mila
sense?
Schmidt has just come out as saying that thank you very much for the memories, NXT UK until next time.
Mila was, phenomenal young talent. She's been working a lot throughout Europe, so I'm assuming she was on a slightly different contract to many, but yeah, because I know she's been doing a lot with Ring of Europe, a few other places, but it is heartbreaking to see NXT UK be replaced by NXT Europe in some regards, but I think it's probably going to provide a better product overall eventually. And I feel like it's not going to hurt the individual independent wrestling promotions as much.
I think you're probably right. Definitely think it's a possibility that it won't affect them that much.
Because when you have one in one country, you're taking all of the top stars within England into NXT UK. Well, yes, that's going to hurt. But if you're only taking 3 or 4 of the top names from each country at a time, it's going to be less of an impact onto all of those individual companies. And as I say, it's heartbreaking to see it happen. And we can look at it selfishly and say, well, yes, these guys are going to probably be able to work more and they're going to be able, but a lot of people's dreams were to work for the WWE at the end of the day. WWE is still, even with AEW being what they are, WWE is still probably the biggest name and the place where most want to or see themselves turning up. That's not saying that they're not out there wanting to be on AEW and hoping they'll be on ABW, because there'll be got a lot of people want to be on AEW, and a lot of people want to be part of New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah.
I mean, I can again see certain people making it in All Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah. Will they make it there? We shall see. We shall see.
Right, I think we'll probably wrap things up there and try and get this edited out to you guys as quickly as possibly can. I won't do my usual fun outro, and I will just remind you guys not to feed the trolls.